Good morning, Facebook family, StreamYard, and all the other mediums that we on this morning. It's a special day this weekend. It's Mother's Day weekend, so I'm going to take charge. Let the lady's not going to take a break, but I'm going to be the one that's going to kind of be leading the discussion on what we're going to be talking about. They're so excited to have three moms on here. You know, we've talked about some of the things they've done in the past, and we've had some of their family members on as well. And of course, you guys have seen my mom on here a couple of times. You know, she's usually in the office with me sometimes when she's visiting, but she's not here today, but she's with us in spirit and on Facebook. I'm away better right now. And you know, guys, I'm technologically challenged, and we were going to show our moms on the video today, but of course, you know, I was having a little difficulty, but they're gonna show theirs, but I'm gonna hold mine up so you can see. Yeah. So we still can get on the camera as well. So I'm just so excited to have everybody on here today. And what we're gonna do to even get it kicked off, and just gonna start off with a prayer this morning. And I'm gonna do that real quick. And once we make that prayer, we're gonna get into our discussion about what your mom taught you over the years.
Oh,
so
Lord.
Heavenly Father, we first and foremost thank you for letting us be in your presence. We just thank you for letting us be allowed to see another glorious day to God. And we just thank you, Father, for having Mother's Day weekend. And sometimes we know it can be tough for some people at this particular time because their mother or grandmother, whoever they really loved and revered, is no longer with us. But we're still going to talk about them today as well, because those people imparted in us also, dear God. And the ones who do have their mothers here, dear God, we just thank you for all that they've done for us to nurture and groom us, and this will guide us in the right direction. And we just honor you, and we honor them as well, because you have made them a blessing to us so that we can be a blessing to others. And these and other blessings we ask in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So with that being said, you know, we said, you know, what your mother's taught you. What's the other little topic we said? Was eagle? Come on, help me out.
So our mothers raised eagles in Eagle Store. And I am sure everyone wants to know what our mothers taught us, and what an honor today, leading up to Mother's Day, which is tomorrow, to be able to share what our mothers taught us. So,
Yes,
Chris, why don't you start? Because your mother is quite frequent here with you. On the show, you know, in your home, at your job, and it's been such a blessing. We've saw her participate with us in community events, so she's ever present and a very, very prestigious woman, always so full of life and joy. So why don't you go first and talk about your mom?
Will. Now, y'all cut me off. Y'all can talk all day about this, but you know, my mom has definitely been a blessing in my life. Like you said, when she's here, she was here last week. You know, she usually comes, spends a couple of weeks with us. She's very busy, and she's imparted a lot of things in me. You know, she was an educator. She taught school for many, many, many years, and that actually helped me to develop, you know, skill sets and things that I have from an educational standpoint, and even a lot of life lessons that she taught me as well. You know, and it's so important to have somebody in your life that can, you know, groom you and guide you in the right direction. And as you guys know, believe it or not, she did do a good job with me, but that's just been my DNA, just to cut up and have fun and kind of joke and clown and things like that. But she always kept me on the straight and narrow, and, you know, to make sure I, you know, I went in the right direction, you know, when things sometimes weren't going the right way. And, you know, there's a strong Christian values that we had as well. And she's still very active in the church. She's very active in her sorority. You know, she's active in the other community events as well. So, you know, you see where I get, you know, the legacy of my mindset of why I do a lot of things I do. You know, growing up seeing that, it just became a part of my DNA and just second nature to me to do these kind of things as well. Because, you know, and like I said, college is not for everybody, but I have parents who went to college. My mom went to college, and I say a lot of times I'm probably one of the least educated people in my family, because like my parents and my mom and some of my siblings, they have, you know, advanced degrees. I got my bachelor's, and I said, wrap, I'm done, you know. But I did think it was important to do that, because I think they had a little scared there for a minute when I was in college. I kind of got burned out for a minute, went to the military, just wanted to do something different. I knew I wanted to get my degree, but, you know, she stayed on me just to make sure that once I got out, that I went on and fulfilled that commitment outside of the military to the commitment to my education as well. So that's just one thing that I always made sure that I did. And you always, I got emotional one time before on the show, and that's one thing too. All the love and education and all the nurturing she poured into me, you just don't ever want to be a disappointment. First and foremost, you want to be a disappointment to God first and foremost, but then after God, of course, when you get married, your spouse, but before your spouse, you want to make sure that your parents, because they spend so much time. She spent a whole bunch of years, to develop me and grooming me. So it's just one of those situations where you don't want to disappoint. So that's why I am like I am, to make sure that I'm diligent. Like I said, she does come up to the office with me when she's in town. And, you guys, I call her my senior millennial. She comes me out some, but I said she's like them youngsters. She'd be on that laptop and her iPad and her phone. I said, hey, I'm about to give your friends don't get you in trouble. I'm about to dock your pay. I'll just be joking. But it's just a blessing to have her here with me, and it's just, like my mom and a friend too, and it's like we're buddies, so I don't know, you watch some of these shows, like I don't know if anybody seen Blackish. I don't think we're as bad as Dre and Junior and Bo on Blackish, but we have a great relationship. We do a lot of things together, when she's here. So it's just a blessing to have her here, and I'm just excited to be able to talk about this topic. And I'm just gonna kick it over to to Rhonda and let her give some input about her mom and how she influenced her when she was coming up into this day.
Before you do that, we always have to find out what is one thing that rings in your ear that your mother would say if you were to quote her. Chris, what's one thing, a slogan or something that she would always tell you?
One thing she would always have me tell to this day, she said, boy, quit being so silly, so because y'all know how I am. I'm just who I am, whether I'm on the show, at my office, here she, in fact, my staff is like, Mrs. Ziegler, has he always been like this? She said, he's been like this all his life. She said, my grandfather was the same way. Her dad was the same way. So she said, that's just part of him. She said, I just ignore him sometimes and just keep him like y'all do me.
Yeah. Like, oh, my mom, her name is Bertha Fane. Yeah, she's just a little bit of teeny woman that walked real fast. And I think I got that from her mom, but just like Chris, my mom was just high on education. My mom did not have a college degree. She went to school, she got her certificate and was a secretary for a long time. But my mom, when I look back at my life, and how me and my sister, we laugh about this a lot, of how so we're not gonna be like mama. But you turn out and you're just like her. But the things that are so special about her and the things that that you got from her that are so special embedded in you, you appreciate that when you get older. Because one thing about mom, and I'm this way today, you always make sure you're presentable no matter where you go. But mom, you didn't go out of the house with no rollers in your hair. You didn't go out the house with no house shoes on, not dressed or anything. Because I remember going to the store, I had my nightgown on. I had to put clothes on top of it because mama didn't play that. You were always a lady, no matter what and you always excelled with excellence. And that's how she was. And whatever you did, you always gave 100%, and she expected nothing less. And so I see that today because, sometimes I say, I'm always have to put on my makeup, my jewelry, but that's what I'm comfortable with because you always want to be your best and a lady at all times. And one of the other things, mom, is that she instilled in us to be self-efficient. And this may be a curse, but it's just you don't rely on nobody. You have your own. You have your own bank account. Don't tell nobody you have your own bank account. You have your own funds to the side because you never know. But she said you always have your own and you work hard. And I saw my mom. My mom took care of us. She was a divorcee from my father when I was like maybe 6 or 7. And she remarried later, and then she became a divorce again. But mom always been the head of the household. got things done. And like I said, she is a little tiny lady, but mama didn't play when it comes to being a disciplinarian. And one of the days when Ross was saying what was one of your your favorite saying or things that your mom would say, she said, "Don't let me cut your butt."
Rhonda, that sounds like something you would say right now.
Yeah, that's how it is. But I love my mom. She's a little firecracker. She's in better health than I am. She walks every day with her dog. Yeah, every day. Every day. I don't care if it's a blizzard outside. She'll have her coat, her hat, everything, and she's gonna walk her dog. She walks her dog, and she eats very well. You don't have to worry about mama no fried food, French fries, all that stuff. But she does she does have a little weakness for sweets, but she has to keep that under control. But that's Bertha Fain, and like I say, she just really taught me, if I could say anything about strength, excelling in excellence and just being an example that any daughter would want as a mother.
Absolutely. Well, Miss Rhonda, can we, before we pass it on to Melly Mel, can we see
my mama?
The superstar. There she is.
Oh. That's Miss Bertha. That's my mom right there. That was last year. We were out to dinner and went to Memphis, and that's my mom. And she probably will get me from telling you guys that, but my mom is in her mid-70s. I'll just tell you that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's in her mid-70s, and I carry my age well, and I really do get that from my mom. I get that from my mom.
That was like your sister.
I know it looks like your just a little bit older sister. That's it.
No, don't say that, because we used to go out places and everybody used to say, "Well, y'all look like three sisters." And we didn't take that too well, because that meant like we look old.
She looked younger. That's what that meant.
That's right.
No, they say y'all look older than y'all mama. That's what they were saying. But yeah, mom has always aged and always aging very, very well. And she got that from her mom too, because my grandmother was the same way. She didn't age until she got really in her 80s, and then you really could see the age.
And see, I told Rhonda yesterday, we always talk on the phone. We do conference calls, and sometimes me and Rhonda would do business together as well. I told her it was Mother's Day weekend this weekend. So normally I would have to do a little jab at it, but it's Mother's Day weekend, so I'm gonna be nice today.
You're gonna be nice.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you for giving me at least one day. I appreciate you.
So Mel, hear from you.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna put the picture of my mom up while I share some information about her. Let's see. There she is.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
My goodness. She's
my mom.
Oh, impeccable.
She's beautiful, beautiful inside and out. My mom was born back in the 40s, in actually 1940. And as we kind of look back at the legacy that they left and how they've inspired us or shaped our life, I mean, I just have to say, so far, they're like the commonality between our moms, the education piece for both of you guys, Chris and Rhonda. My mom was an educator, so she was a strong believer in education. And Linus, our mom, share the same middle name. So my mother is Juanita Faye, and your mother's Bertha Faye, right?
Fayne, F-A-Y-N-E.
Okay,
F-A-Y-N-E.
That's
close.
So we've got some commonalities there. But my mother, when she was born in that time, she was faced with the integration, just like most of our parents during that time were dealing with integration. So, she'd always share stories. So she was a storyteller, educator. She loved to share and leave legacies. She was that teaching mom. So we just constantly, wherever we were outside looking at nature, and this tree is this and that. And, so she was always teaching, and no matter what. So she, even when she was facing the hardship of going through the integration, she established some strong ties and relationships. So where she's left a legacy and looking back at some of her hardships of just integrating through school. She was 14 when she stepped through those doors for integrating. And,
Mhm.
there's some friendships that were developed of those individuals, her counterparts that stood in the way and took the spit and took the push and took the hit. So whenever, you think of what that young person endured and that the relationships that were made, she was a relationship builder. She found the positive in situations that were just ridiculously tough and forged some strong relationships that hold to today. So I would have to say, for starters, she developed strong relationships with people and was a woman of her word. And that to me, is something I know that it carried forward to me, because that I respect and honor and love building strong relationships. And so that's what I look back on and see. So the families that she forged relationships then with are the same families that their offspring we have a close bond with. Isn't that crazy?
That's how it is. Yeah.
It now that was a legacy that was left for her. And she went to Oscar Rose State College, which is now Rose State College in Midwest City in the Oklahoma City area. She got her associate's degree, and in about 25, she started the school system, but it was the Head Start program. So she worked for in Oklahoma. It was Inca Community Services. In Inca, we were Chickasaw Nation. We were lived in the Chickasaw Nation. So we got Chickasaw background and African American background and blood running through our veins. So she committed her life to the Head Start program. And, so she spent years, I mean, what, 40 years in Head Start program. So she started out assistant teacher. She became a director over all of the whole all of the whole county in that state. In her county, she was the director over that. So she made an impact in education for 3 and 4 year olds all over that county, and that made a difference because I became a teacher as well. So I became a teacher and worked in special ed program, and it was all because of some of those legacies that she left for me. So, digging her heels in the community is what I do today. Digging her heels in and finding your place, using your gifts. And I saw her do that. So when we talk about how our moms inspired us or what they taught us, it's almost like a parallel to a point of, you see their strengths and then you take, and that's what you pick up, those strengths. So you know what, guys? She did all that while raising 6 kids with my father, 6 of us, 3 girls, 3 boys, and we were growing up off of garden food. We had harvest season. My favorite was summertime, of course. But we picked pecans and cut wood, and we did it as a family. It was a unity. So that whole unity in the family was like a huge deal. For whenever it was work, we worked together. Whenever it was play, we played together, and it did produce something that in me that really, put family as a strong foundation. And then I'm going to go with the next level, and it was the faith. She was my Sunday school teacher, my vacation Bible school teacher, the choir director. She was pretty much everything for this little girl growing up, listening to her and watching her work in the community. And in the home, and be so strong, and but then the flip side of that coin is when I would sit under our kitchen window, she would scoop me outside because I was a mom's girl. Go outside and play, going outside with the kids. And I would want to be so close to her all the time, so I would sit under the window of the kitchen and just listen to her. She was watching, listen, and she would be singing, and one of the songs she sang all the time was "Walk with Me." The "Walk with Me, Lord," and when I could feel in her voice the emotions, that the flip side of what she could have been faced with, and how she was leaning on the Lord for absolutely everything in her life, and that's what propelled her and got her through. So I'm thankful for her just being in and leaving a legacy of faith that anchored her to be able to do all those things. So that's my mom.
That's awesome, man. That's what I said that because I'm gonna tell you what's funny though, and we probably all in the same vein. Like I said I did not want to go into education. I didn't want to do any teaching, but listening to you talk, what do we do? And I do, and you guys do as well. All the same. I mean, I didn't get my degree in teaching. I do seminars and things like that, and I guess too, seeing my mom, over the years doing that, and I guess innately, excuse me, I actually indirectly have been teaching. I might not have a degree in teaching or be called an educator, but we are doing education on a daily basis. So I guess that did rub off on me, and I didn't even realize it. Just listening to you guys talk, that's what we all have been able to do over the years. Go ahead, Ross, take it away.
All right. Hey, oh my God, I am so inspired by everyone so far and their moms. And as everyone has been talking, I can see the seeds of greatness. I can definitely see the resemblance and the DNA and the character that everyone has talked about. So my mom, oh my God, goodness, was an incredible woman. She went home to be with the Lord in 2000. Miss Sheila Grayson. Miss Sheila Grayson, I thought about some acronyms that I could, remember every attribute about her that she passed on to me. And I'll start with 3 C's. She started with that foundation of church and Christianity. No matter what, she took me to church. Now, I grew up, unfortunately, my father passed when I was very young. And so she was a single mom. And, like your mom, Lioness, she did remarry and then divorce. But what I saw was the foundation of her roots and taking me to church and our belief. And she instilled that in me at a very, very young age. And it was at that moment that I was taken to church as a little girl, and I did not know that music would become a plumb line for me to really have an intimate relationship with God. But I remember seeing Sister LaWanda, them sway in that choir and rock back and forth and sing those songs, and tears as a little girl would fall from my eyes down my face. And I didn't know that was the Holy Spirit at that time coming over me. So my mother definitely had a strong root in the church. Now, the other C would be courage. Now, let me tell you, my mom was 5'3", and let me tell you about Miss Sheila Grayson. She was tenacious, and when I say courageous, she would never flinch in the face of adversity. So even though I felt my character and mannerism as a little girl was quite opposite, because I was very quiet, very reserved, but accomplished, so to speak, because that was her expectation. She knew how to push me. She would always push. But I really didn't feel when I was a little girl that I would ever be as courageous as my mom. But as I've gotten older, people who knew her that know me, they said, man, you are like your mother. You are so much like your mother. So she would stand up in fire and roar. She would stand up in the face of adversity and she would fight. And I do mean from a spiritual standpoint as well as a physical standpoint. She would roll those fish, y'all. So that mama, my mama was feisty. And then the next thing, I wouldn't say this would be a C. Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's something that we all share in common. And I believe it's the glue that brought us together. My mom was the mother who would take everybody around in the community that didn't have cars, they didn't have much, they didn't have food. She would take them on the first, y'all, to get groceries. She would just go from house to house. It was during the time you could just show up at people's house and you wouldn't get cussed out or shot at. But she dove her heels. She dug her heels in community, and I didn't even know that's what it was at the time. But it was every month. She was always thinking about someone else, and there could be times she had great needs, but the needs of others always superseded her needs. And so community started with the roots of my mom just simply helping others and giving unselfishly. And those are the 3 C's that really have been ingrained in my life and in my heart for my mom. And yeah, I love her so much. Miss her. She passed away in the year 2000.
And I'm looking at your mom now, Roz, and I see you so much, especially in those eyes.
Mhm.
I see your mom. Yeah. And Melly Mel, now I can't even get that song out of my head. Walk with me, Lord. It's like embedded.
Mel, can you give us a little rendition?
Oh Lord.
Hey, we'll join you. We'll join you.
Well, when I was sitting in that, and it wasn't just the song or the words; it was the emotion and
emotion. Yeah.
Every time I hear it, it's that song that brings you to the level of tears and emotion. So, big acts, but I'm gonna do my best. She would sing, "Walk with me, Lord." Walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me all along this tedious journey. I want Jesus to walk
with me.
Yes.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That brought tears to my eyes, Mel.
We talking about moms too, and just hearing you guys talk, I just think about the tenacity and perseverance of my mom as well, because my mom is a breast cancer survivor. So, seeing, some of the things that she went through, and she's doing well, hadn't had any problems or anything like that, but the attitude that she had, I think, the attitude that you have when you're in a situation like that, makes a big difference on your outcome and things of that nature. So, when you see somebody going through something like that, going through the different therapies they have to go through, and put it this way, when you saw her, you talked to her, you would never known it because of the attitude that she had. She always kept a positive attitude. And so I've always had a positive attitude. Even before she had cancer, she always had that, but that even took it to another level, because that's when you see your tenacity and your perseverance are going to be tested then. Because some people give up. Some people just say, "Hey, I can't do it. I don't want to go any further," or what have you. That didn't even cross her mind, So although she told me that, then to see it in action when something adversity truly came into play, and to see what she talked about and put into action, I mean, that even took it to another level from that standpoint as well. So I think that's just awesome. Yeah.
Well, I have to add that with that, mothers, what they do for their children and the face that we put on and the strength that we carry for our children is something that is out of this world. I mean, it's a supernatural gift that God gives mothers to be able to hold their peace during these times, or fight for the underdog, and have the courage to lift up a car off of their child. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The emotion and that energy. And my mom on her deathbed, she picked up the phone and called her siblings and told and consoled them and said, "It's gonna be okay. I'm going to a better place."
Yeah.
Her faith to see it, and when your mom says, "Hey, Melanie, let me use your phone. I want to call. I want to make some calls," and her hour is not far away, and you see her with just content knowing that she is going to a place that is, you know, she's got her mansion there, and what she's leaving behind. She was encouraging people as she was passing, and to see that, like you, Chris, it does change you. It impacts you. It levels up a level of what you can bear, what you can go through, what you can endure, and the sense of foundation that you have in the character
Yeah.
that you use under duress. What are you going to do under duress? And that is totally what
Right.
my moms are showing. So
You-
And
you-
I agree with you. You know, when you are young and really don't have a care in the world, because mom, you see her laboring in love. You see her going before you, I mean, doing what she has to do. You really, I didn't even realize we were in some of the hardships that we were because mom was always pressing.
yeah,
And, you know, I love what you said, Chris, about keeping that positive attitude. You know, my mother was always trailblazing ahead, no matter what. So I didn't feel the brunt of a lot of the hardships she really faced because as a mom, what do? We shelter, we
Mhm.
cushion those
Yeah.
blows,
yeah.
and we
Exactly.
yes, we're nurturers, and we protect. So when I got grown and I had my own kids and got married and you know got divorced and I understood some things. What they say, by and by, you'll understand by and by.
Mhm, going back.
So
Mhm.
definitely appreciate the strength of a mother. I've heard people say well, mothers are very strong, even sometimes stronger than men. You know, men have physical strength, but the even the mightiest man, you know, and I'll give Chris his props here. And you can talk about him later, Linus, but you know, you have to know that Chris came from an awesome mom
Mhm.
and those values because you know he stands tall and firm,
Oh
you know,
yeah. Oh
and
yes,
taking
ma'am.
and
The
takes it,
principle.
yeah, it
That's
takes his place.
that's right.
And we need that. So Miss Roz, I know you're listening. Happy Mother's Day to you, and thank you for all the great nuggets and everything that you instilled in Chris. We're happy to be doing life with him, his family, his wife, and he keeps us in line. So thank you.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And Ross in the crew in BWT crew is this when I was just thinking about everybody, it's just how our moms uh their commitment, there's not just their strength, their commitment, their dedication and loyalty. And that's one of the things that I see in all of us because I'm even thinking about my mom. My mom still works full time now at 70 plus. And like I said, she mid 70s. I would tell her
Wow.
age, but she may get me. But you know, she still works. She is over she works for the American Cancer Society, which shows all of us giving back and being that community and that loving and just caring for other people. She's been a coordinator for them, outreach coordinator for them from, I think mom's been there with them like 30 plus, maybe about 35, 36 years. So it shows our level of commitment when we're dedicated to something, to a cause, to even to employer. And it's not that, you can't go anywhere else, but you have that commitment. And I just look at back to my life, with Federal Express. I was with Federal Express 30 years before I left, and I'm just thinking about that, we had to get that with my sister. She's in the school system. She's been in the school system for almost 38 years.
Ooh,
And it's just that when we commit to something, we commit to it and we don't falter because we may not like it one day or not. We just committed. And so
yeah,
I appreciate mom. And I see that in all of us too, is our commitment, not just our commitment to each other as a Building Wealth Together team, but our commitment to the people that we serve. And that's what we do is Building Wealth Together. We're serving. So
right.
yeah. So I think thank you, moms. Thank you, Brother Fane.
With that being
And all
said,
the moms.
you talk about, community service, giving back and things of that magnitude. that's one thing that's been, like I said, been instilled with my mom. I mean, to this day, she still does a lot of that too with her sorority. She's a member of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. With her church group, she leads and does a lot of different things for the community. And with that being said, I'm actually going to transition and talk about this as well too. That's where I get that in my DNA as well to do what we're going to have coming up on. We give it the plug since we're talking about it on May 29th. We're going to have the non-perishable food drive, the hygiene products and cleaning supplies that we're going to be doing on May 29th here in my office from 11 o'clock to 1:30 that day. And the thing is, my mom, seeing her do the different things they do, like getting the boxes together, at Thanksgiving and Christmas and different things during the year. And I really, saw them doing that. I saw her doing that over the years and still doing it, with a vengeance. That's what kind of, fuels me to do what I do on a day-to-day basis, because I saw how much she has given to me and what she's not only done for me, but did for the community. And I think that's what helped me to be, selfless and want to help others as well from that standpoint, So, like I said,
Right.
really give her kudos for that as well.
My mother was an advocate writer, and I would just listen to her. She was one of those people, when she spoke with authority. She spoke very eloquent. And I remember her being in the presence of her mom. So that kind of trickled down. You had to kind of get the jelly out of your bag, be poised and don't mumble where people couldn't hear you. In other words, speak up and speak clearly so that people will understand. So as we're talking about, different attributes and what's in our DNA, being a speaker was engrafted in me in terms of, hey, be a great communicator, be a great educator, because my grandmother was in the school system. And so that was really, really important in our family. And I think, Mel, you were about to say something.
Yeah, well, I got to piggyback on what you said, because we would get popped straight in the mouth whenever we said something like off color, like a slang word. She said, no, use correct English. Use, you know better. So she wanted us to speak well and, use our words wisely. And so, yeah, we couldn't all that y'all and, and she just, we thought curse words were like dang, darn. Oh, that was a curse word. So she had us wrangled in pretty close. So, which comes with that conservative lifestyle, that conservative, just she was very consistent. And what I wanted to ask earlier is, for each of us in our given career and our roles in insurance and in real estate and in mortgage lending, and for me, credit, what in our influence or what of our mothers or our upbringing under them maybe led us. Sometimes we have something that will help other people, and we're using it. So if there was something that your mother instilled in you or something from your childhood, it'd be fun to know what that was. And for me, we didn't talk about credit and money and finance, so there wasn't at the table. So what was at the table was, when we go and all the whole family would go when it was pecan season, and we would go pick pecans. We would take it and sell those pecans. We grew up country. Now this is straight country in Oklahoma. And so we'd sell those pecans. So whatever we picked up, we could go and sell, and it was ours. So as much as you could pick up and as much as you would collect through a week, you could take it to the store and sell those pecans and you would get money. So she didn't say, oh, put all the money in the hat, it's for the family. We got to keep our money. So we learned the value of hard work and the value of money, of what that can convert to. So that hard work ethic was instilled. And the other side of that finance part was, how are we going to use our little money? Were we going to blow it? Was there a savings plan? What were we going to do with our little money that we collected and then to start into work? So for me, what I didn't know about credit, I jumped into it right out of college for Consumer Credit Counseling Service. and it opened the door for expanding the small savings. And my grandmother saving her money in a mattress, and you know, she had $70,000 in that mattress over the course of a lifetime. So, after she died, they found all that money in there. So you learn these things of what is the better route to go. What can you do to better empower yourself and your family to have a strong credit profile, to have a strong financial toolbox of what you're doing, how are we, financially using our money, what do we own, and how are we managing ourselves? Are we being good stewards? So for me, it was that type of situation that gave me that mentality to either push for more, because I didn't know what I didn't know until I got out there and were educated myself. And now I'm out in the community trying to educate others on, hey, think about that credit report. Think about how it impacts you. 1%, 1 point. If you can get 1 point in interest reduction before you buy your house, that can save $25,000 per $100,000 borrowed from your mortgage loan. $25,000, $200,000 house. Guess what, guys? That's a $50,000 savings over the life of your loan just for 1 point reduction in your interest. So that 1 point comes through building your credit as high as you can.
I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna switch gears on you ladies. We talked about your moms. You ladies are mothers as well. So I'm gonna let y'all do go around the stream yard. I'm gonna say around the room. We'll go around the stream yard and tell us, what nuggets you instilled in your kids from what you've learned and the values you put in them, and just kind of give us some stories about how you dealt with your kids, from fun to maybe having to chastise them. Just share some things with us as well for our audience. Go ahead,
Lord.
Well, thank you, Chris. But no, that's it's easy, but it's hard because parenting it's not a science.
No.
And if I'm honest, in all honor to my mom, she didn't do everything right. Definitely didn't do everything wrong, but I honor and love her for doing the very best that she could. Mm-hmm. And it's all good. And so with parenting our kids, we instilled in them how important finishing is and an education, and to actually follow through. Teaching them, like you're saying, Mel, at a very young age about banking. How do you write a check? I was very shocked. I was dealing with one millennial couple, and they didn't know how to write a check.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know how to write a check today. So instilling those financial principles in them, and having sit down dinners at the table where not everybody is distracted. So some of the things, maybe that were missed, you get to do it in your family and instill those things. So, it's definitely, it's been a feat, but it's been wonderful parenting. What about you, Lioness?
When I think about my girls, and I think about my mom, the first thing to say, sacrifice for them to have the best. I think that's what I see, is that just making sure that I know that's what my mom did. She did everything she could to do to make sure that we have the best. And that's the best that she could provide. And so I'm just thinking about my girls, is that we made sure at that time I was married, that they went to the best preschools. We was in the neighborhoods that had the better schools. And we had to struggle just like everyone else. But you made sure that you put your money where your mouth was, and that was making sure that you gave that foundation for your children and for your legacy to be successful. Now, what they did after that, we had no control over. But you did your part. And one of the things that I always used to say, and I know my girls can, I want to be that example that they can look back and say, you know what, I want to be just like my mama. And I'm blessed to be able to, to hear that a lot, but and just be that example. But I think when I think about everything is sacrifice, just making sure that they see that you work hard, You're not lazy. You went to school, you get your education. Both of my girls are graduate of college graduates. And, like you said, well, Sierra is a supervisor at Agape. And I'm thinking about going back into that environment of wanting to help, wanting to make a difference, because that's a social, that Agape is a nonprofit organization that helps the community. And then Whitney's the RN at St. Jude, which is going back, helping others, the children at St. Jude that have cancer and other illnesses. So it's just being that example for you girls to do excellent in whatever you do. Give it your best. Does that mean you have to be perfect? And I expect you to be perfect? Absolutely. But when you've done your best,
Right.
and you've given all that you have to give,
Right.
then you have succeeded. So that's what, when I think about my girls, I think that's what I'm still in not being lazy, being able to do what it needs to be done to get
Wait,
the
look
result.
here, Rhonda, you emphasize that twice. That must be a real stickler.
Yeah, don't be lazy. Yeah, if you got to
That's
get up
Rhonda's quote.
and
That's
work,
Rhonda's quote.
get up and work. Yeah, don't wait for me, because my mom, I'm gonna just tell y'all this. You go to my mom and ask her back in the day and ask her for $20. You had to, Mama, let me borrow $20. She'll tell you why she don't think she should give it to you. If she give it to you, she need it back by so and so, because she got her own things that she got to take care of. And she would sermon you for 30 minutes, and at the end of the day, you say, you want no mama, don't even worry about it. I go out. And so that's just working hard. Don't, because you think about it. We spoon feed our kids in this community. We give them everything, and then they have nothing to go work hard for. But mom wasn't like that. Mom said, go work for your own. And so it just instilling that into your own. Also, work hard, get your own. It's not that I'm not here to help you, but I'm not going to be your crutch. So
Give them wings, not crutches.
yeah, exactly. You're right. Teach them how to fish. Don't fish,
Yes,
teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
Mel, did you want to chime in
Sure.
on Chris's question?
Yeah, Chris, just a parallel of looking back and seeing how I was raised. The way we're raised today, again, the kids don't have a clue of the two different types of, for one, the dynamic of living country versus in the city, suburban areas, and in the city areas. It's a completely different dynamic, and we didn't have technology like they have today, so our time was creative, and we had to create our fun and make playhouses and do different things.
And mud pies.
And right, mud pies and everything else. And, so all of those things, it can separate us, or we can find a way to connect with them. And that's the key, is being connected with the new way of what they're living in. So for me, Chris, I look back and I can see that fear-based thinking in relationship to, I can tell you an example. My mother was scared to death of storms and tornado. We're scared of tornadoes. But Oklahoma had its bad weather, tornado threats and different things. And so every time that the thunderstorm or the news would say, oh boy, take cover, or it was a thunderstorm or heavy whatever, she would take like mother hen, get them all in the bathroom tub and cover us up with, heavy quilts. And it was like a fear-based, so storms became a time to like panic and get scared. So I grew up with that, and that was her thing. She just didn't trust that weather. She must have went through something in her own childhood.
Yeah.
Fast forward to my children, I recognized that when bad weather or there was a storm, I was like, oh, okay, guys, let's figure this out. And I stopped and I was like, what am I doing? Let me figure out a way that will make these kids feel safe versus fear-based mindset. So,
I just want to interject right there. Keep a bookmark there, Melanie, to continue. We can't raise our children, grandchildren, or lead anyone based on the fears of our past. If we project that, it may steer them in a way or keep them held back from their destiny. So you're absolutely right. Please go ahead and continue.
Right. So, to keep that from happening and for me to carry forward a legacy of storms and fear, I would get you put the chairs together and you put the tent, you put the cover over it and you get under there and you get your book and your flashlight and in that storm and during that hail and during that tornado threat, instead of it being a fear, it was story time. It was okay. Let's do the
Oh,
book
yeah.
and let's go and cave and so they were able to have fun and block out the fear and the noise from outside, and we created a special time. So we turned that fear-based mindset into a time like, let's get the books, let's get the flashlight. It was a good time to go and do that. So that's one way we can shift what we've learned, because our parents weren't perfect. We're not perfect, but again, somebody said we can do better than what we were taught, and so that's what we're focusing on, just to do better.
And it's funny that you said that, Melanie. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna chime in too as well. Growing up, of course, being a young man, I got perspective of how to be a gentleman, of course, from my dad first and foremost, but then from female perspective from my mom. So I joke a lot of times about getting in touch with my feminine side and stuff like that. But it's funny, and I joke about it, but I'm serious at the same time, because I see a lot of men sometimes, because some men are just taught to be so rough and rugged on certain situations. I have a daughter, I don't have a son. So, with that being said, in fact, some people think the relationship me and my daughter had, they say, oh, it's weird because I'm in tune with my daughter. She's a female, but I understand. I had sisters, I have a mom, and so I'm in tune to things that with her and with my wife as well. At least I'm gonna say most of the time with my wife. I still do some knuckleheaded stuff, every now and then. But from that perspective, and I see a lot, I talk to guys about that seriously about that. Sometimes about you can't look at it from a male perspective on everything. That's why I think helped me relationship. That's why I enjoy working with you ladies too, because sometimes some guys don't know how to work with women, because they just so rough and rugged and don't know how to talk, and good people, but just don't understand perspectives on certain things. And me learning perspective from, of course, my dad, and learning from my mom and my sisters and aunts, uncles, and grandparents and stuff like that, like my grandmothers. I took heed to a lot of things they said too on how to treat a woman and how to interact with with females and stuff like that, especially with my daughter. And it's just some guys just don't. They have got some guys who have daughters don't know how to talk to their daughter sometimes. Go talk to your mom, but my daughter feels comfortable coming and talk to me. In fact, a lot of times she tells her friends, they said, my dad feels like my big brother. So now something he needs to go down, he can turn dad real quick, but that's not a relationship we have. But the thing, then my daughter had the fortune of having my wife, who's a phenomenal mom, who does an excellent job with her, and everything. So, having that support cast at home from grandmothers and then of course my wife, who does a phenomenal job with my daughter, has been an amazing, situation for her. And she's had the best of all worlds and flourished from that.
Awesome. Well, goodness, if you are tuned in, thank you for being here with us, building wealth together. We are eagles, and we have definitely been sharing the pearls, the wisdom, and the love, and all the attributes that our mothers taught us. And we're grateful for that. We're grateful to every mother, even those spiritual moms and those, what do they say? The village, those who would get them switches after us, or get you in check. It takes a village. So we definitely thank everybody for being here. If you'd like to reach out to anyone on the team, the BWT team, we do have one number. It's 469-795-1708. That's 469-795-1708. You can visit our website at Building Wealth Together, the letter B, the number 2, the letter B.com. That's Building Wealth Together, B2B.com. And I'm Rosalind Booker, Principal Broker, CEO of Arbrook Realty. We're a full-service real estate company in the North Texas area. We birth dreams and legacies in real estate. Have a very important announcement. I've just authored a critical solution and answers. It's an ebook, 35 pages, a short read, called How to Buy a Home in a Seller's Market, 22 Strategies to Win the Bidding War and Purchase the Home You Want. go to Amazon. I'll actually put the link in comments once we're done. Go to Amazon. You can find it there, Rosalind Booker, and go ahead and pre-order that book, just $2.99. My phone number is 972-679-9311, 972-679-9311. Lioness?
And I'm Rhonda Hutchison. I am the lone, I'm making sure I wasn't muted. I'm Rhonda Hutchison. I'm the lone lioness. And listen, I got a new one, guys, for you. Listen, I'm on the prowl to build I'm on the prowl to build generational wealth. And I'm doing that by bridging the gap between renting and home ownership. Give me a call at 214-856-3747. That's 214-856-3747. And listen, I'm not doing that by myself. I have the team here, the Building Wealth Together team, and also I have a team powered by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. So give me a call. Chris?
Go ahead, Mel.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Hey, this is Melanie Williamson here. I am so thankful to be part of this group, and I'm wishing you guys a happy Mother's Day for tomorrow, and all the mothers out there listening, all the fathers, and just everybody in general that follows and listens to us. We appreciate you, and we thank you for listening on this special day, for the special show, for the special weekend. So I am working with the credit education and the credit restoration part of this team. And what I would like to share is, if you're out there and you're wondering if your foundation is strong enough, if you have the pieces in place for going to buy a home and purchasing Roz's book to find out how to work that deal, and get with Rhonda on that lender, to be ready and not get at that closing table and you don't make it through underwriting. Make sure. And so that's why I'm here. Just check it out. You can reach out to me and we can go over that credit and just see where you are. You can reach me at 469-403-8394, and we can address those things together. Any of your questions? If I don't have the answers, you know what? I have a team that does. So, Chris?
And I'm Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler Agency Allstate, located in Frisco, Texas, serving the whole state of Texas and the DFW Metroplex. If you have any insurance needs, from home, auto, life insurance, business insurance, commercial insurance, I'm here to answer any questions. My motto is customer service with a personal touch, and I'm here to educate and be in education consultation is my tagline as well, because a lot of times people do not know what they don't know, and that's what I'm here for. So once again, like I said, my mom's a teacher. That's my teaching gene coming out. I can be reached at 214-870-4269. Once again, I can be reached at 214-870-4269. And next week, I will give you more information about the non-perishable food drive, hygiene products, and the cleaning products next week. We are starting collecting stuff now. It can be dropped off at my office at 8750 West Main in Frisco, Texas. And we will have that up on the site probably at the latest Monday. So if you have any questions about that, once again, call me at 214-870-4269. And you guys have a great Mother's Day, and I'm going to let Roz take us out.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have time for. Go love on a mom. Respect, honor, and love her. And y'all have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.